Today, I'm going to be breaking down Karma by Seyi Vibez, where, as usual, I'm going to be talking you through the various elements of the track that I'm picking up on as we go through it. Okay, so listen, there's a couple of key moments that I want to talk about. Firstly, really like the way that they use the intro to build the track, set the tone, feel, and vibe. Secondly, what they do with the bass lines, and I don't want to give too much away, but it absolutely bangs. And the third thing are the vocals, man. Like, they hit me in my soul. Trust me, these vocals are absolute fire. And we are going to be talking about this and more in today's video. All right, let's get into some music. Right, nice build in the intro.
Anytime I bust on your speaker, I'm a logo London, go logo man. My inspiration no go divert. Please to my quageli dewa. Oh show up on my dewa. Hello, jelly dewa. Life na kama he. Go kilo shave, I no need all your drama he. I just the jama he. Oh so
Okay, right, so we're going to stop it there because we are about to shift over into the next section of the track. So let's cover off what we've heard in the intro and in the verse so far. Okay, so look, I've already said it. Really like the build up of the intro. I think it does an awesome job of setting the tone, feel, and vibe of this track. Now, that's quite abnormal for me because anybody who's been watching the channel for a while, you will know I don't like long intros. And actually, tip for aspiring artists and producers, keep your intros short. Because I can tell you for a fact, record labels, distributors, promoters, like playlist curators, they do not want to be sitting there for 30 to 60 seconds listening to your intro. Get to the meat of the track as quickly as possible. A little bit different for established artists, they can get away with things, but for you, when you're up and coming, you want to get to it ASAP. Now, getting back to the point, so I really like the way that the intro builds. We get opened up, we've got those vocals, they've got some effects put on them, which is why they sound the way that they do. If you notice, they're kind of overlapping, they're tailing off, filling up all the space, but they're also panning left and right. We shift over into the second segment. This is where we get the introduction of some percussions. One thing to pay attention to on the kick drum is you'll notice that on the first and second bar, we get a double kick, we get a dun dun, but on 3 and 4, we don't get that double kick, at least at the start. Second thing to pay attention to in that second segment is we get a layer of keys in there. But what you'll notice with those is that on the first bar, they get pressed. Second bar, no keys. We then go over to the third bar and then we get a variation. So we get dung, dung, dung. So pay attention to that. Now, we shift over into the third segment of the intro, and this is where, again, we hear the percussions beginning to build. We go over to the first verse. This is where we get the bass come in, but it's very subtle. You notice it's not big and prominent and present on the track, but it's enough to bring warmth to it, provide additional rhythm, but also support that feel and that vibe, the tone of the track. And then the final thing is just that vocal layering, man. It absolutely bangs. Really impactful, hits hard, and again, really helps to support that overall vibe. So let's go back, let's listen. So there are the vocals. Percussion's coming in. Right, listen to the keys.
Anytime I bust on your speaker,
right, bass in there now.
My inspiration no go divert.
Layers.
Oh show up on my dewa. Hello, jelly dewa. Life na kama he. Go kilo shave, I no need all your drama he. I just the jama he. Oh so
Mate, they bang. Okay, right, so we're going to stop it there because we are shifting over into the next section of the track. So let's cover off what we've heard in this section. Okay, so the first thing that we notice here, and I'm going to go back to the keys that I was talking about in the intro, where they get pressed on the first bar, skipped on the second, and then we get dun 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 on the third bar, right? So it's kind of happening, what, every other bar. What you notice is throughout the majority of the first verse, those keys are only being pressed once on the first beat of every bar. And actually, it's not until we start kind of tipping over into this section that we start to get that variation within the keys again. Now, the same thing happens with the bass. Well, kinda. So what happens is when we tip over into this section, what you notice is that the bass that was in the first verse actually gets removed. Now, we do still have a bass in there, but it only comes in every now and again. And it's actually completely different to the bass that we had in that first verse. But then what happens when we shift over further into this section, we do actually get the bass that comes back in, only this time it's much more prominent, much more present on the track. And again, bro, look, I know that I've spoken about the vocals, but they just absolutely bang, and they continue to kind of, hit hard, be impactful, be kind of big, full, fill up all the space, and just really kind of drive that feel and the vibe of the track. So let's go back and let's listen to some of those elements. You notice the bass is gone here? Now it's back in. Those vocals, mate. Hey, just bang, man.
Now wait till you want to go house for.
That flow. Okay, right, we're going to stop it there. I actually got lost in the track, but I'm not even going to lie. I was going to... I should have stopped it a little while ago, because we've actually shifted over into the, let's call it the latter section of the track. I can't even believe I forgot to do that, right? The latter section of the track. So let's discuss what we've heard in the section we were just listening to. Okay, so look, the first thing that we notice is that key variation that I was talking about, where it's first bar hits, second bar misses, and then third bar doom doom doom, like, well, that actually gets carried over this time into this section, not like in the first verse where it kind of switches in and out. The second thing that we notice is that we get a switch up in the bass again. We go back to, well, more of the bass that we had in the first verse in this section of the track. But what they do, and this is the winner for me, man, is it absolutely bangs. They give us a switch up in the bass to a synth bass. But what you notice is that it's not really strong on the track. It's not prominent like what we hear in lots of other songs that are out there at the moment, right? It's enough to give us this kind of bouncy rhythm, to give us a shift within the track, but it's still quite subtle, which means that we get to maintain this tone and this feel and this vibe that they're going for, whilst achieving a switch up, right, to keep the audience engaged. So let's go back and let's listen. Right, listen. Coming in. Listen to the bass. Back to the first verse. And another thing as well, I actually forgot to mention this, is listen to the flow. Right, the flow delivery is slightly different in the second verse to what we had in the first verse. Let's go back one or two. Listen to the variation in the keys as well, it's there. Boom. Synth bass. Bangs, mate. Okay, listen, man, they've switched the bass up again, right? So we've gone from the synth bass back to the bass that we had in the first segment of the track, not in the first verse, but when we, let's call it the chorus, right? Just for ease of reference, right? We go back to what we had in the first chorus. Just listen very quickly. Right, synth bass at the minute. Boom. Different bass now. Okay, right. Do you know what? Banging outro as far as I'm concerned. What you notice is actually they've slowed the whole thing down. We've got a completely different rhythm in terms of percussions. But what's interesting is we actually have conflicting rhythms, right? So listen to the percussions and then listen to the rhythm of the vocals. Individually, they conflict. But when they're being brought together, they actually work. And this is something that's called polyrhythms. I mentioned this, I think, a couple of videos ago. But that's essentially what it is, where you have one or multiple elements that conflict rhythmically. But when they're being brought together, they work. Let's just go back very quickly. Right, listen. Hear that? Okay, that's it from me. If you want to see more breakdown and analyses videos, there'll be things popping up on the screen right now. Other than that, don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and I will see you in the next one.